What's up everybody, and welcome back to the Single Dad Nomad. If you don't know me, my name is Nicholas Dembski, and on this channel I try to help people live better worldwide. Some of the ways I do that is by showing people how to move abroad, the benefits of moving abroad, and the things you need to do it with. So like your gear, your software, your resources, etc. But today I'm doing something a little bit different. So what I'm going to talk about today is that I got a question regarding my first time traveling abroad as a parent. Now, before I can get into my first time traveling abroad as a single parent, I want to talk a little bit about my first time actually traveling. Okay, so I grew up in Michigan, and I grew up in a very small town. Not diverse at all. I only heard English growing up, etc. And so when I finally went to college, I decided that I was going to use my summers to do work outside of the state. First, I moved down to Florida for one summer to shoot photography for the Anheuser-Busch Corporation at Discovery Cove. That was the first place that I really started getting to know people from other countries. There was a lot of people from Asia that worked there. There was a lot of people from Latin America that worked there. And so I really got to know people from around the world, and it was really interesting to me hearing different accents, hearing people speak in two languages at the same time with each other. It was really interesting. So I decided not to go back to that job the next year, but I decided instead to go work at a summer camp in New York. And again, this was another place where a lot of people from all over the world were working. There was a lot of people from the UK and Germany and Australia and again, Latin America. And so bringing a lot of people together from all over the world. And so my formative years of travel were not even me traveling very far. It was going from Michigan to Florida or Michigan to New York, but people that I was working with were from all over the world. So I gained a lot of perspective about what it means to travel. And I remember meeting people in New York, for example, who were from Australia, who had just finished like a grape picking season over in Australia for a few months, and then now they'd saved up all their money, so they're going to come over to America and work for a few months, and then they were going to do that summer camp and then travel for maybe a month, and then after that they were going to go over to Canada and then work in Whistler as a snowboard instructor. And this was just kind of their lifestyle. They would work a few months, take a month off and chill, work a few months, take a month off and chill and travel. And it was really interesting to me because I'd never heard anything like that in my life. You know, being from America, especially from small town Michigan, no one ever traveled, and if they ever did, it was like, oh, we're going to Florida, you know, like me. And if they did go out of country, then maybe they went to Windsor in Canada, which is just across the border, or maybe they went to Cancun in Mexico, which is they just stay in an all-inclusive resort for a week. So in my experience, that's not so much traveling as it is taking a vacation. So meeting people who were actually traveling full-time and making a lifestyle of it, I found it really interesting. I knew it was something that I wanted to do in the future. I just didn't know how. So then we got to my last year of college, and that's when I met the mother to my daughter. She was studying abroad from China. She was going to be there for one semester. And basically within about the first 3 weeks or a month, we found out she was pregnant. And so I kind of had to make the choice, what am I going to do about having a child in another country? Doing the timeline, we knew that it looked like the baby was going to be born within a month or two after I graduated college. And so we kind of decided together that we were going to have the baby in Hong Kong. Now, why would we do that? Why would we go to China to have a child instead of stay in America? Well, the biggest reason is the cost of birthing prices. In the United States, it's something around the average is like $10,000 to have a child. I know people, it can shoot up to $30,000 or even more just to have a child. And do you want to know how much it cost me to have my child in Hong Kong? Because her mother was Chinese and she's a Hong Kong resident. $0. And the care was exactly like what you would find in the United States, but it was free. So that's why we decided to have the baby in Hong Kong. And basically, once I moved there, I already knew that I was going to have to get a job. So right after I graduated college, I moved to Hong Kong within a month, and I started looking for a job, and within a month after that, I had one, and I had my baby girl. So really, my first time traveling abroad as a parent was the moment my daughter was born. So let me just talk a little bit more about that experience working abroad as a single parent for the first time. Well, I wasn't a single parent at that time, actually. I was still married. But I was still the only person working in my family. My ex-wife was staying at home and taking care of our daughter. But let me just talk a little bit about my experience finding that job and what it was like working there. When I first got to Hong Kong, I was just out of college. I hadn't had a job beyond the summer camp jobs and the photography jobs, so I didn't really know what to expect. I knew that there was a couple ways to position myself to make it that I could find a job once I got to Hong Kong. So for one, I had my college degree. Also in my final semester, I studied the TESOL-TEFL course, a 120-hour course that gave me a certificate for teaching English to second language learners. And so with those combined, going around Hong Kong with my resume and showing it to all the different language institutes and all the different schools, it put me in a position that I had multiple job offers within a few weeks. I mean, I can't remember exactly how many I had, but it was too many. I remember going to like 30 different interviews and appointments with different places and dropping off my resumes. And I think I had probably 1 in 3 offer me a job on the spot, and probably 2 in 3 eventually offered me a job. And so I had a lot of different options to pick from. And this is what I think is really important for people to understand from the United States, is that you're getting ripped off in the US, man. These teachers that start off in the US, you're probably making equivalent money as a teacher would in Hong Kong, except you don't have any TAs. My biggest classroom was with 10 children, and I had 4 TAs up to any given time. It just goes to show the difference in the jobs, that it goes from working in the United States to working in China or Thailand or some other place. I think working abroad, you get treated much better as a Westerner than what you get treated in your actual home country, where they don't even give you enough money to buy pencils for your kids. If there are any teachers out there who are thinking about traveling, you're in a great position, because if you have any teaching experience at all, you can easily move abroad and find a teaching job, and likely that school will give you free tuition for your child as well if you have one. As far as working in a job like that goes, it's fine. It's just like any other job. You got a boss, you get paid, you got to work, you got to clock in, you got to clock out, you got things to do. It's not anything different like that. It's a pretty normal life. I'm not like sitting on the beach drinking margaritas all the time. I still got to work too. So that's a big part of traveling as a parent, is that you're always going to be working. You're always going to have to do something to take care of your child. That doesn't change. When you can travel, life is a little bit more enjoyable. It's not that it's easier. That's certainly not the case. I still have to work all the time. It's not that I'm always having fun. That's not the case. I'm still a full-time single parent. I still have to bring in income. I still have to take care of my child. Excuse me. My first time traveling abroad with my daughter was when she was born, obviously. I was still married at that time, but now that I'm a full-time single parent traveler, things are a little bit different. And I'm sure in future videos I will talk about that a little bit more. But for now, I feel like I'm starting to ramble, so if you like this video, don't forget to subscribe, smash that like button, and let me know if you have any questions or comments about single parent travel down in the comment section. I'm happy to answer them for you guys. Thanks for watching the video, guys, and I will see you next time. Peace.